Hey guys, welcome again to our latest segment. Today, we're going to be focusing on hiring strategically, finding the right talent for your business growth. So, as your business evolves, so does your team's needs. Let's unpack how to ensure your next hires contribute positively to your growth trajectory. But before we get into this awesome topic, let me introduce myself. So, my name is Shane Harris, and around here on these social media streets, I'm also referred to as Shane the Negotiator, and I help coaches, consultants, and service providers who are overwhelmed and lack guidance to achieve true financial freedom. And I do that by providing expert tax and coaching services. So come on in close. Let's get into hiring strategically, finding the right talent for your business growth. So let's begin by defining your needs. So first step, you want to clearly define what it is that you need. Beyond just filling a position, think about the skills, the attitudes, and values that align with your company's goals. A detailed job description that matches your strategic needs will attract the right candidate. So oftentimes people will put a job out on the post. There's different platforms that you can do that on social media, or you may put it in other places in your community or wherever, and the description is pretty vague. So if you have vague descriptions, you're going to attract vague people, so to speak. So you're going to attract any and everybody who think that they're going to be a good fit for the job. So the more details that you have, what is the expectations of the job, what is the job, or not what it's offering, but what is the details, like the description needs to list out what the roles are going to be, what is going to be expected from this particular candidate. Then this is going to weed out some of those other people that might not be qualified. You're still going to get a few slip through there that may not be qualified, but those next steps is going to help as you go on the next steps. You're going to have systems in place, and some of the things we're going to talk about to start getting you to be able to select the ideal candidate for your business. So let's talk about sourcing the candidates. Now that you have put this job description out there and you start getting them to, you try to attract people to come on in. So you want to look beyond the traditional job postings. You want to utilize your professional network, your social media, the industry events, and even current employees. Referrals to find potential candidates. So sometimes the best talents comes from within your own circle or unexpected resources or expected sources. I know I reach out to many of my other colleagues and I'll say, hey, I have this, like for instance, like my tax and accounting colleagues, I might reach out to a couple of them and say, hey, I need a bookkeeper. Do you know of any really good bookkeepers or whatever? And they might be like, yeah, sure. And they'll give me the list of the bookkeepers that they're currently working with that might need some extra hours because they would be working part-time hours or whatnot. And I source my people that way because what is the best way to find a good employee is by reaching out to someone you already know that has the employee working for them. Then if they come work with you, you already know it's likely going to be a good fit, especially if you trust this person in their business and you see their work ethics and their business is really good, then you might say, okay, if they're doing well over there, they're likely going to do well over here also. Now, there's difference between employees and contractors. I do this with contractors because if an employee is working for this one company, you may have policies in place that says that they can't work with the competition. So some of my other tax and accounting colleagues, although we are not in direct competition with each other, it still could potentially be a conflict of interest if their employees are working in my business as well. However, if it's a contractor, then it's a little bit different because they're independent. They kind of do their own things anyway with some limitations. So contractors, you may be able to do this a little bit more. So if you're reaching out to your other colleagues, your other professionals that you know for employees, it may not be an employee that they currently have, but that employee may have friends and other relatives that may be a good fit and they will be able to refer them to you. So going on social media and posting, yes, that's the traditional ways of doing things, or going to the job posting boards and putting things on those different job sites. Those are the traditional ways of doing things, but going to these other non-conventional ways, so to speak, may also be more beneficial to you. I tend to nowadays go these routes more than I go to posting on social media, because I find when I post a job post previously on social media, I got any and everybody trying to come up in here, whether they was qualified or not. So a lot of the times You don't see my postings about positions as I am doing them by reaching out to my market and finding out. I even reach out to some of my clients because they may know people that has the skill set that I need, and I may reach out to them and put it out in an email and say, hey, do you have anybody that you know would be a good fit for this? They already know the integrity that I have within my business. They're not going to send me no riffraffs because it's going to look bad on them. So utilize your network is going to be so powerful to you. I'm telling you, utilize your network. You have more resources and power within your network than you may think. So once we've gone through the sourcing process and trying to find the talent, now we are going to go to the interview process. So you want to transform the interview into a strategic conversation. It's not about the candidate's skill, but it's how they solve problems, their ability to work in a team, and their adaptability to change. So you want to use behavioral interview questions to get insights into their real world experiences. So when I use a particular platform, that platform that I was using previously, and I intermittently go back on this platform. I use it because they do a disc assessment on everyone that comes on there, all the potential people that are looking for jobs. They have them complete a disc assessment. Now it's optional. If they don't complete it, then they just don't complete it. But I only choose and look at those resumes of the people who have complete the disc assessment. And if you don't know what disc assessment is, go look it up. DISC. It's pretty much a assessment on your personality, your work ethics, and your character, and so many things in one. Each letter means something different. So I look at those because that is going to give me a better picture of the type of employee that I'm going to be working with. Now, it's not the only thing, but I use it as part of the source. So if I see like someone has like a high D, which that's my personality type, it has a high D, I know we're likely going to work fairly well together. However, we're going to be a lot alike, a lot similar in our way in which we think, in which we do things. So then if someone has a I or an S or any one of the other letters that is there, I may look at that because I may need that balance to have that person have a different perspective. I may not want everybody that's going to work with me that's a high D just like I am, because we may end up butting heads and having conflict because there's too much dominance in the work face. So I may need some balance by having someone else, not necessarily a high D, but they may be high in another letter where it's going to be some balance there. So that's just an example. I do look at that. And if that's not available, of course, you can speak to people in the interview to certain interview questions that you can have, that you can speak with them to kind of figure out the type of skill set that this person have, their work ethics, what do they value, and things like that. You want to pretty much sell them on how what it would be like working with you, and you're doing that through the interview process and seeing their character. There's so many different ways in which you can do so. And again, if you need assistance with being able to go through this process, be able to hire within my coaching program, I'll teach you how to be able to do that, to really hone in on your hiring process, to really start putting the right people in place. Okay, so next let's go into the culture fit. So a candidate fits with your company culture is going to be important as their skills. So someone who shares your company's values and vision can thrive and contribute more effectively. So you want to consider involving your team in the hiring process to gauge this fit from multiple perspectives. So I know in the past when I had hired people before, as I mentioned in the previous live that I did, and if you guys are if it's only here on YouTube, so if you happen to pop in from the other social media platforms, or if you catch the reel on the other social media platforms and you want to see the full video, you want to come on over here on YouTube, because it's only going to be on YouTube. It's not on the other platforms. The reels and the might be on the other platforms, but not the full videos, not on Fridays. So come on over here to YouTube so you can catch that. So what was I saying? I almost forgot what I was saying. But anyways, let me just, so consider involving your team. Oh yeah, so this is what I was going to say. So when I had my team members come in, so said my administrative assistant, she would do the main hiring because, like I said, I didn't have time, nor did I want to have my hands dibbling in that. I didn't want to. That's why I hired her. A part of why I hired her is to take on a lot of the administrative tasks that I was too busy or I didn't want to do. So she did a lot of the sourcing for talent and the hiring. So once she hired them, she did the, not hiring. Once she found the talent and she did the initial interviews, I would then do a group interview with her there and all of the people that she selected. I had my own line of questioning, and I went in, I was really assessing their character and all that. She pretty much assessed the skill. I was assessing the character and a little bit of the skill. Because a lot of times you can train people to do just about anything, but if their character is jacked up, you can't train good character. Good character is like you either have it or you don't. Now you can learn to have good character, but if you don't have good character, I am not here to teach you at my company's expense to be able to do that. You got to figure that out on your own. So it's different questioning the things that I do in a group setting. Also in a group setting, you can kind of see the different personalities on how well they can even function with each other, knowing that they're each other's competition. So if, I see a lot of it's competitiveness is good, but if I see that disrespect and things like that is coming because, one person may say thing and the other person will like, well, I'm better at it than you are, whatever, it's just like simple examples. But if I see certain things in the group interview that I don't feel like would be a good fit for you working with the rest of my team, it's just not going to happen. So once we're in this group setting, once we finish the group setting, and I might say at that time, I'm not selecting them at that time. I may figure out that I might have a few that I may like my favorites or something like, okay, I think I'm really feeling this person. Remember, I've already read up on them before with the notes that my administrative assistant had already given before. So I have a little bit insights on before I even sit with them in a group meeting, what their skill set and things are about. So once we have that group setting with myself, once I relieve them and they go on about their business, I let them know that we'll let you know who we have selected. At that point, I sit down with my administrative assistants and we would go and compare, what did you like about this person? What did I like? And we would actually select from that point. She might have some things that she liked, and I'm like, nah, it's not a good fit for me. But however, if it's someone that's going to be working mainly with her, then I would likely let her have that her pick. If they're going to be working mainly with me in certain other areas, then I'm likely going to be the one for that pick, because there's no need for me to pick someone and she's not so the most comfortable with that person, because it's not going to be a good fit. If they're reporting directly to her and she's the main one that's doing a lot of the interactions with them, it may not be a good fit. So, and similarly, if it's the other way around. So those are other factors that you want to put into place when you are hiring. It's not just about you and what you want, it's your other team members as well. So once we have now picked out and figured out, then we have another process where once we do decide we're going to hire, they're still on a trial period where now they meet the rest of the team and then we see how those interactions on. When they're on their probationary period, they're still being evaluated, so to speak. I want to say judge because it's a terrible word to have to use right now. They're being judged, but they're not being judged. They're being evaluated to see if they're a good fit or not. So it's a process that continues on for a while. Once they're hired, they're not just safe. Oh, yeah, we could now, we can rest, we can let our hair down. A lot of employees would do that, but no, you're not out the woods yet. They're not out the woods yet. You need to be still evaluating to make sure it's a good fit for you and your company. So the onboarding is going to go into onboarding for success. So a strategic onboarding process is going to be important to be integrating new hires into your team successfully. So you want to make them feel welcomed and valued from the first day and provide clear pathways on their growth and contributions within your company. So when they come in there, you have a lot of times when I used to work as a nurse and I would go to a new place, and I went new places a lot because I worked as a nurse, but I wasn't a type of nurse where I stayed in one place for a long time. So I tend to have done independent type of nursing where I worked with agencies and they would send me to multiple locations. I had always had multiple jobs. So I had my main job that had me at one main facility, and then I would have one or two other agency jobs that I would pick up per diem work, and they would just float me to whichever facility needed help. So some of them I end up going to some of them on the regular, and I would find that I liked working in certain places more than others, and I would request to go to certain places more than others. So I would go to different places. And when I would do that, I find that it wasn't always welcoming from the other nurses that was there. There's a thing that nurse eat their young. Oh, that was a big thing that was happening when I was in my 20s and 30 in nursing. It's like, especially when I was a brand new nurse. So when you go there and it's like this thing that everybody else have, well, I belong here and you don't. But the whole idea is I'm here to help you. You're here and I'm here to help you. So why not make me feel welcome and comfortable? So there's ways that I used to figure out like, hey, I'm here to do the job. I'm not here to worry about these folks. So I say all that to say is that when you have your people coming in and you're hiring a new people, it can be a bit intimidating for them coming into a whole team that's already there, because not only are you learning them, they now have to learn so many other people. It's easy for you to learn the habits of one new person versus them having to come and learn 5, 6, 7, 10 or more people. It's a lot more stressful for them than it would be for you and your team. So making them feel comfortable from the first time they even have any interactions with you is going to be important. So that feeling comfortable should start from the first time you even put out that job description until indefinitely while they're working with you. So I said, if they're welcome and feel valued from day one, and you want to provide that clear pathway for their growth and contribution within the company. So you want to be able to let them know what it is that you're going to be expecting of them, what it is that the value they can bring to the table, and include them in any type of decisions that you might be making with the rest of the teams. I'm like, you're not doing this off of day one, but I'm just throwing out some things out there so that you guys can kind of start thinking outside the box a little bit and not be as structured when they come in. Okay, so let's go into investing in development. So remember, hiring is just the beginning. So you want to invest in employees' continuous development aligns their personal growth with your business objective. So by fostering loyalty and driving innovation. So when they come in and they're working with you, you want to have some type of training for them. So even though you may hire me to come in there and do a particular task at your organization. So I'm your employee and I have my skill sets. I got a special set of skill sets that I can do and I can bring value to the team, and that's why you hired me. However, you may have a certain type of way within your company how you guys do things. So I still need training on how this company runs. You're not training me on how to do the job per se, because that's what my skills are for. Whether I lied on my resume or not, I signed up because I say I can do this. You're not necessarily training me on that, but you're training me on how the company works. Now, if you're offering training for the job, then that's like on how to do the job, that's a little bit different. But if you're hiring because you're hiring people who already knows how to do the thing, then you're not training them on how to do the thing. You're training them on how it's done in your organization, if that makes any sense. So let's talk about a case study. We have Amir's tech startup. So Amir's startup was ready to scale, but he knew hiring the right person or the right people was going to be important for him. So by focusing on strategic needs and the culture fit, he built a team that propelled his business into the new markets, doubling their growth rate within a year. So if you go back and watch the last live that was done on Monday, where we were speaking about Entrepreneur's Guide to Budgeting, we were talking about no, it wasn't that. It was talking about, let me see what were we talking about? Identifying the right time to grow your team. That's what it was. When we were talking about that particular on that particular live, I mentioned I mentioned in that case study that that particular person propelled their business they increased the revenue by 30%. So this is a similar situation with this particular company where they were able to grow their business, doubling their growth rate within that particular year. So by adding in the the team members were added value to the business growth and allowed the business to expand. So, and to conclude this, strategic hiring is about more than filling a gap in your workspace. It's about finding individuals who will drive your business forward, share your vision and growth with you. You want to take time to hire right, and it will pay dividends in the business future. So I don't want you guys to make some of the mistakes that I made when I first got into scaling my business within that first year. And I started putting all these people in place because that's what everybody was saying to do. And I needed the help, but I wasn't ready because I didn't know how to be a CEO at that time. There's a difference between being an employee and being a CEO. Your mindset is different. The way that you operate has to be different. And after the first year of me being in business, I wasn't a CEO as yet. I was still working on becoming a CEO and really understanding. So I wasn't at the place where I was able to manage people effectively. So I have since grown. It's now to 3.5 years later, I've grown so much and I'm able to now effectively be a CEO. And that's why I can now teach you how to be a CEO. So, as I mentioned before, and I'm mentioning again now, I'm going to drop my link for my coaching program, because if you need assistance with business coaching to be able to grow your team and so many other things in business coaching, if you go ahead and schedule a 15-minute discovery, I'll be able to discuss with you a little bit more on what this business coaching is entail. And it's definitely going to have the hiring and onboarding and hiring employees and hiring new talent as part of the coaching. So if you need assistance with this, among so many other things in business coaching, here is the link scrolling across the bottom of the screen, sociatap.com/SD negotiator. And that's sociatap.com/SD negotiator. Click that link, click on coaching to schedule your discovery with me so that we can see if the services that you need is going to be a good fit for you to be invited into the coaching program. And if you are still not complete your tax returns and you still need assistance with tax and accounting, you click that same link and scroll down where it says tax and accounting, and you can schedule some time to sit with me and I can help you there. Now, the advantages that you have is that I do coaching and I do tax and accounting. So you get a 2-for-1, okay? Twofer. So come on over so that I'll be able to assist you. So in closing, as we wrap up the series, so the series has ended, you guys. You made it to the end. Many of you have been with me since November when we started the first series, Pathway to Financial Mastery. And then as we moved into the 2024's playlist, Business Growth. And now we are pretty much concluding. The series is over. So this concludes our 2024 tax season. I hope you have enjoyed the Pathway to Financial Mastery that began in November and the Business Growth Playlist, which began in January for this tax season. But I'm here to tell you that's not the end of it. I'm not leaving you guys hanging. I'm not leaving you in the clutch. I'm not leaving you like I'm just abandoning you. That's not happening. So I want you to stay tuned as we transition into life and business coaching over the next 6 months. So I do offer tax and accounting services, and I am offering life and business coaching. So the life and business coaching, sometimes it's together in the same coaching program. However, if you just need life coaching and it has nothing to do with business, there is a program for you if you just need life coaching. If you need business coaching, you are going to get some life coaching within the business coaching. But if you just need life coaching and it has nothing to do with business because you don't even have a business, I have something a little bit special for you guys. So stay tuned over the next couple of weeks as we transition into coaching and we start speaking more about those types of things in a different playlist. So I'm not leaving you guys hanging. So here's to your continued success in both life and business. And again, I want, if you guys can like this video, subscribe, share it with your friends, your family, the colleagues, the coworkers, whomever. Share it, because it helps the channel grow. It helps me to reach other people. And whether you need the services or not, maybe someone else may find it beneficial and they may want to be able to get the resources available to them. So again, thank you guys for hanging out with me all these months. And for those who are brand new and you're seeing this for the first time, I appreciate and I thank you. And I hope you guys have a great and wonderful day. And if no one has told you yet, and for the day that they love you, I'm letting you know I love you guys. And I'll see you on the next one. Until I come back. Peace.